your favorite brand strategist, Sylviana Moore, back on your favorite day of the week, Marketing Monday. And today we are discussing what potentially may be holding you back. And when I say you, I mean most entrepreneurs. So today we get into the meat and potatoes. It's the beginning of Mental Health Awareness Month. So let's talk about what people don't really want to say out loud. This weekend I had an opportunity to go to a conference with multiple entrepreneurs, and we were talking about all the different struggles of entrepreneurship. We had entrepreneurs in there who've been in the game for 20 years, 3 days, and we all had very similar struggles. So today I wanted to talk about 6 things that you may be struggling with and how you can overcome them, because why not work smarter and not harder, all right? So let's get on into it. The number one thing that most of us are struggling with is a lack of planning. So let's be frank. I completely get it. Most of us started entrepreneurs in the back of our closet. Maybe somebody told us we were good at something, or we were already doing something, and we decided to charge a little change on there. Or perhaps we had an idea or inspiration and we just jumped on it. But we really didn't know what we were doing, but we were resilient and figured it out, right? This is lack of preparation, folks, and let's be honest, without a clear business plan, it's very easy, especially entrepreneurship, to lose direction, okay? And what I mean by that, okay, is there are so many different ways to skin a cat, meaning so many different ways to run a business. It doesn't matter if you're in retail, you could talk about inventory or traction. If you're doing Airbnb, you could do that, or short-term rentals. There's just so many different ways to make money in so many different industries. So without a clear plan, you can easily lose direction. So it is very important for you to develop a very clear business plan. I did not do this, wish I would have done it sooner, have done it since then, but did not have a day one. So I'm telling you that you need to have a day one. If not day one, as soon as possible. All right, y'all? Develop a clear plan, and within this plan, I want you to identify your goals, your strategy, and your timeline. So that's goals, strategy, and timeline. I want you to review this regularly because things change along the way, and it's important for you at all times to have those 3 things identified within your business plan so that you know that you're working towards your goals, okay? So number 2 is going to be limited resources. So when you really think about it, number 1 and number 2 kind of go together, because if you don't know what you're going towards, you don't really know what to ask for, right? Or to look for. So I like to say, make it plain. Make the vision plain, y'all. And then really try to seek out and manifest the things that you need to make it easier for you to reach those goals, okay? So if it's going to be, when I think of limited resources, I think of insufficient funding, I think a non-existent staff, I think of maybe it's a lack of time, right? I think of these things when I think of lack of resources or lack thereof. Now, to combat these things, I'm going to say seek out funding options, y'all. I completely understand that business loans and grants can be very scary, especially when you're not familiar with them. But they're out here for a reason, and they're very accessible to you all. Okay? So depending on if you have a unique value proposition, such as you're Black-owned or woman-operated, it may be a little bit easier for you to seek out funding, at least easier than you think. It's important regardless to know your options, such as, is it going to be a business loan? Are you going to be looking for grants, seeking partnerships, doing crowdfunding, VC funding, or better yet, is it just all on you? Now, the reason why it's still important to know, even if it's just on you, is because the more you know about your numbers, the more you know about what you have and what you don't, and the better you can make realistic plan, and that's our goal. So seek out funding options, invest in stock trading if you have staff, see what you can sacrifice if you need an extra pair of hands. Some people feel like a virtual assistant is not necessary, or a social media manager is not necessary, or a content creator is not necessary. Depending on your brand, it may be necessary to sacrifice something on the back end to have those people on the front end, right? Because again, we all want to wear several different hats, but it's imperative to know in the long game, these short-term sacrifices are going to make sense for these long-term gains. So seek out funding options, invest in your staff, figure out what exactly you need if you don't have enough money and it's not obtainable. It is okay for you to revise your timeline as much as you need to, but when it comes to your goals, as long as it's not hindering your goals, we just need to make sure that we're managing time effectively, okay? Now, These years are going by so quickly, and we all know running a business is not an easy thing. So we just want to make sure that time is our friend, okay? The number 3 thing is going to be marketing. And you know I love me some marketing. We did not take enough time to invest in marketing. A lot of us don't have marketing at all, and I completely get it. Especially if you've been running your business for the last 10, 20 years. You probably just don't feel like marketing is necessary. You've been doing it your way, why reinvent the wheel? But marketing is here for a reason. As I always say, what other tool or strategy that do you know where you can communicate with thousands, millions of people globally? Oh wait. It is important to make sure that you are using social media to identify your target audience and to make sure that you're not working against yourself, especially in the early days. You may have questions that you can gear towards your target audience to make it better for your product or service to be better. Let the world tell you what's working and what's not, and you revise where necessary. Use social media, if anything, to identify your target market, understand your numbers. If you're willing to also get your brand out there in front of more eyes to give you more opportunities to convert more clients, leads to clients, to customers, right? Use and understand that content marketing is not a difficult thing, y'all. There's no reason for you to have poor marketing, okay, especially in 2025. It is simple. There's so many apps and tools. There's so many people that are here like myself to make you have better, to help you have better content. If we're going to be doing content or social media or brochures or business cards, it needs to be high quality material, okay? You need to know that your marketing can get you into more doors that you can sometimes. It can speak for you in those rooms, right? Better than you can sometimes. I have met so many people where they're having a great pitch, they're talking to talk, but you go to their website and you're like, what's going on? Or they don't have a website, or they don't have an Instagram. They have an Instagram and they don't post. We've all seen it, right? Marketing is here to assist us build trust and credibility with our potential customers, okay? So we want to use it for just that. Now, for marketing, you want to make sure that you're on the ground. Reach out to people in your area, partner and collaborate with people who are hosting events, and make sure that you're standing out by using your unique value proposition, right? That could be eco-friendly, Black-owned, women-operated. There's so many different ways to stand out and to use your value proposition to help you market, okay? Now, the last thing that I want to mention, or the last 2 things that I want to mention is ineffective management. Now, we just got done talking about the detriments of wearing multiple hats. So let's talk about managers. Getting close. I was going to say poor leadership, but let's just say poor decision making can often lead to missed opportunities, okay? So to be very frank with you all, I am the first in my family to be an entrepreneur, at least at this scale, right? And so entrepreneurship especially is a landscape that's always changing. Digital marketing is always changing. Technology is advancing at a crazy rate. These things are going to move. The goalpost is going to move. So what I like to say is leadership always has to be open to changing up the strategy, change up the game, always be adaptable, willing to learn, okay? So missed opportunities can simply be not knowing that you even had an opportunity to begin with, or not even knowing where to go for the opportunity. Do not be afraid as a CEO to take the time to learn what you don't know. Or better yet, invest in people who know what you don't know. But if you're in a position where you're wearing multiple hats, there's no reason why you should not be taking leadership classes or analytic classes or customer service classes or operation classes. There are too much free knowledge out here for us not to be educating ourselves in those important areas in business, okay? Ineffective management, ineffective staff training will do you more harm than anything else, all right? It is quite frank that those businesses do not run long because your people are the core of your business, right? So the last thing that may be holding your business back is inflexibility. So that may just be someone who has an idea, a mindset that they don't want to change, or perhaps they are 20 years in and like I said, they just don't feel like things are necessary. Failure to adapt to market changes, customer needs, can leave a business behind. You not listening to your customers, you not adapting to what is going on can easily either bankrupt your business or put you out of business faster than anything else. Let's just think about it. Blockbuster, Macy's, some of these businesses that we never thought would ever disappear did not last because they were not able to make the massive transition during COVID, right? A lot of these businesses were not able to transition with the time, and ultimately they were leaving money on the table or they became bankrupt, right? So make sure that you're keeping an eye on market trends and customer feedback and be ready to pivot and innovate wherever is necessary, okay? Entrepreneurship is a long-term game. It is. And it's beautiful at each and every level if you allow it to be. I thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you guys have an amazing week. If you need to, recap this video as many times as you need to. Ask questions in the comments. I'm always here to assist and educate as much as I can. I look forward to talking to you all, and I will talk to you guys next Marketing Monday. Bye.